Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Sorry we're a little bit early with Skype Goldbridge tonight, half an hour early, but there's a Manchester United game at 3 AM, so I want to get a little bit of sleep before we get up for the watch along. And join us for the watch along if you dare, if you can do it. It is a school night, I know, but it's going to be a good laugh. LA Galaxy was certainly a great community, but let's fly into it. Neymar to Manchester United. I am always reluctant to not talk about these sorts of deals because they're a little bit like talking about Messi to United, Ronaldo to United. But what I would say is this: there are three determining factors when I'm talking about Neymar to you now, and basically a lot of people are asking about it, so would be remiss of us not to talk about it. But the three factors that they are immovable objects in a certain sense. One, Marcio and a lot of credible people are saying Neymar to PSG for £222 million. Two, Ed Woodward has wanted Neymar for years, and if he becomes available then I'm sure United will inquire. And three, Neymar is obviously, and makes it very clear, that he doesn't like being in the shadow of Lionel Messi, who's just signed a new contract. In fact, it was his dad who said 3 months ago about him leaving. So I think those three factors are true. Neymar could well leave Barcelona this summer. He could. Whether he'd come to Manchester United or not is another matter. But 222 million, could United afford it? Yes, they could. 22 million, would pay it to get Neymar at Manchester United? I think he would. Would Neymar come to Manchester United? I think he would. But what I've always got to say is this: Manchester United can do anything. But my concern with Neymar, and I've been quite consistent about this, if he leaves Barcelona for Manchester United or PSG, my theory on Neymar is he just strikes me as a bit of a mercenary. But then again, what footballer isn't? And he would tick a hell of a lot of boxes. If you're looking for a number 7 or a number 10, if you're looking for a marquee signing or somebody that's just going to draw a lot of interest, worldwide interest, massive global support, it ticks all the boxes. Would Mourinho want Neymar at Manchester United? Well, it's a bit like saying, do you want to be a millionaire? Because I'm sure he'd find a way. And actually, Neymar, we wouldn't need to lose anybody, especially if we're going to play this two up front. You've got Lukaku, Rashford, Martial, Neymar. I mean, talk about 4 different options, but all very, very great flair players. It's going to be interesting to watch and see what happens with Neymar. I would, as per usual, I would lean on the fact that, like Alexis Sanchez, I don't think he will come to United, but it's been going on for a long time with Neymar. And if you're asking me, I'm probably 80%. Maybe 75% he'll sign a new contract at Barcelona, because that's what normally happens. But Marcio doesn't normally comment on sensational deals. Like, you'd never get him going on about Ronaldo when Ronaldo was apparently going to leave, or Messi. He doesn't tend to comment on those big deals. He did a bit about Griezmann, didn't he, a couple of days before it collapsed. But to mention Neymar and PSG like he has is very interesting. And I just feel if Neymar's available, Manchester United will inquire. And if it's PSG against Manchester United, then Neymar, is he what, 25? Why would you go and play for PSG? It's a pub league. It really is a pub league. It's an easy ride and it's a pub league. Come to Manchester United. We're a bigger club than PSG. We are a competing club in relation to brand and global support with Real Madrid and Barcelona. You come to Manchester United, you're the world superstar of Manchester United. It ticks all the boxes. So a lot of people will say, oh, it's not going to happen. But I think it's more likely to happen than Ronaldo. It is. And as Karen Burns says, he'd play at number 10. A lot of people saying he wouldn't leave. Look, I would lean with everybody who says he probably won't leave. But he's not directly linked with us. He's directly linked with PSG. That's what the story's all about. Everyone's linking him to PSG, which to me makes me think if he is going to leave, he's not linked to Manchester United. But we all know for a fact that Woodward's been on about him for a long, long time. And Manchester United would suit him better than PSG. Shuri Cora, the Real Madrid fan, has made a contribution. He says, when you dream of Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, and can't get Real Madrid, reject Morata. Yeah, well, you know what Real Madrid can do? They can go and suck on a bloody Sevilla orange or whatever it is you have over there. Go and choke on a paella, because just disgusted, absolutely disgusted. I wouldn't sell them Lingard, let alone De Gea anymore. Wouldn't let us have Morata for 80 million, but apparently you're going to let Milan have him to 60 million. You know what that is? It's downright blatant, public attempt at bullying Manchester United, and I'm so glad we walked away and took Lukaku, because wouldn't let us have Morata for 80 million but are happy for him to go for 60 to Milan. I mean, how petulant is that? Like I say, go and have a siesta and don't wake up, scummy club. Anyway, it is going to be a Skype Goldbridge, by the way. I've forgotten to mention that. Gamer Channel says, what about Fabinho? We'll have to just wait to see what happens with Neymar, by the way. He would wear the number 10 shirt, as a few people in Tyrone have said. Neymar is better than Ronaldo, says White Shadow 77. And Melvin says, stick to Sanchez and Perisic because Neymar is staying. I don't think we've got any chance of getting Alexis Sanchez, by the way. I'd be happy to get Neymar or Alexis Sanchez. I don't think we've got as much chance of getting Neymar as we have of Alexis Sanchez. I don't know why. You know where the Alexis Sanchez rumour came from? Because I'm in the private group with the person who's a lawyer who does feed out information. He's got a private group. There's a new account set itself up. I think I'm not going to name it because I don't want to give it any credit, but it's like chucking out, oh, I'm an insider. I think they call themselves MUFC Insider or something. And this lawyer in the private group basically was getting really annoyed of this account copying his news. So he put out a fake news, and this bloke went and copied it. And Alexis Sanchez to Manchester United is just the biggest load of nonsense at the moment. I mean, anything could happen. It's not going to happen, though, is it? And it all went off on Sunday because of this fake account. Let's talk about Matic. This is good news. Well, I think it's good news. If it happens, fingers crossed, it's Marcio again. Personal terms agreed with Juventus for Matic, and he's trying to force a move through. I'll be ecstatic with it. Look, I'd rather take Matic than nobody, but I can't believe for 1 minute we're going to sign nobody, so I'd rather it wasn't Matic. I'd even take Eric Dyer over him. It's gone very quiet with Fabinho. I think Nainggolan has signed a new contract now, but if it's not Matic, I'm suddenly excited because I'm thinking, well, who can it be? Who will it be? Because I don't want Matic. Samster says he's heard rumours about us being interested in Keita from RP Leipzig. But yeah, the Matic thing is interesting. There's a few people going on about Fabinho, and obviously I've done my preview on the Real Salt Lake game. A few people asking about that. I'm going to take your calls in a minute, but I just wanted to read something out as well, which I'd forgotten to read. And this is sent to me by Drawty. It's not his. He's Paris Saint-Germain is serious about Neymar. The French club is in fact ready to pay the release clause in the Brazilian footballer's contract to pull it off. In front of phantom figures, €220 million to be paid. The choice will be for the player to accept PSG's high bid offer or to evaluate the rebound club, ready to dramatically increase the Brazilian salary while retaining it. A real shot in the market. Well, it is interesting about Neymar, isn't it? You know, people say, well, 200 million is a ridiculous amount of money, which it is, but that's his release clause. Barcelona can't stop it. So imagine if PSG offered 200 million and Neymar said, yeah, I quite fancy going. 200 million is a ridiculous amount of money, but he is probably one of the world's best players. Right. Over to you, everybody. Skype Goldbridge is the word. I'm taking calls, so get calling. Don't know what you want to talk about tonight. Maybe you want to talk about United game. Maybe you want to talk about some of the transfer news. Perisic. We were told Perisic was going to sign tonight. Has it bloody happened? There's still time. But China tour tomorrow for Inter Milan. So Perisic, he's got to sign soon or we ain't getting him. Another absolute mess if he doesn't sign for United, but we'll see what happens. Let's take a call. I know it's a little bit early, but we should still be getting a few people phoning in. Paul, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mark. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You're a little bit quiet, but that might be just be my... Oh no, it's alright, it's me. I just need to turn you up a bit. Okay, what do you want to say?
Well, there's tons to say, really, isn't there? But I'm a little bit lost on Man United at the moment in their transfer business. Obviously, it's been difficult to get players in, and we've been working hard at the players we're going to get in. I don't think they're the right ones, personally, in terms of Matic, as you say. Perisic, good player. We've already got Martial. He can't go. But the point I'm trying to make is, with the signings that we've made and the potential one more, do you think it will really change the system that we're playing? And do you think Mourinho will have more trust in his players than he had last season? Because I think that was a problem that he had. He didn't trust the players enough to play a system that he wanted to play, so he played defensive just to get results.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I talked about it on my preview for the Real Salt Lake game that apparently we're not going to play a 3-5-2 tonight. He's going to go back to the 4-4-2, which I can understand why he's doing it because he wants to try different formations. But I quite enjoyed that formation. It made the game far more interesting. In relation to the signings, Lukaku effectively replaces Zlatan, but with pace. I'm happy about that. Lindelof didn't have a great first game, but I think he'll turn out to be good. Mourinho's good with centre backs. And I mean, I suppose the short answer is, Paul, I don't know what I think about Manchester United signings. I'd throw it back to you because we're linked to Perisic, which I'm happy to sign. Matic, I hope, is going to go to Juventus, but the reality is we still don't know who he's going to sign, and that really, at the moment where we are, I've said it a couple of times over the last few shows now. Fellaini and Lingard played over 70 games combined last season. If they play the same this season, we won't be winning the title. We'll be battling for 4th place again.
This is it.
I'm happy for them to be squad players, but if they're going to play that many games, then we're not going to improve. And that's not hating on them. They're just not good enough to help us win a title. So he's got to do something in the transfer market for me.
It has to be done because at the moment we've replaced the goals from Zlatan with Lukaku, who I do think, whether or not he had a rubbish second half in the last game, I think he's going to get 20 plus goals, but that's just replacing the goals that Zlatan's got. I think Martial's going to come on this season, which negates Perisic. We've got Lindelof, which I think is going to be excellent because we've got a ball player from the back, which I think was essential. But I mean, imagine if he gets injured. Have we moved forward? I mean, I'm being negative here. I like the signings that we have, but I just don't see enough in them, which is gonna take us to the next level. We really need to go for a Sanchez or a Dembele or another quality forward like Belotti or Morata, a quality centre defence. I think we need 3 more players. I really do. I think we need 3 more seriously good players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just reading some comments there, and got him. Says Neymar's in the title for views. I don't know whether you're burying your head in the sand, got him. But Neymar is massive in the news at the moment because PSG are apparently going to pay his release clause. Woodward has wanted Neymar for years. It is a valid point to say Neymar to Manchester United question mark, because at this moment in time we don't know what's going to happen. And I agree with Paul that we do need another striker to go with Martial, Rashford and Lukaku. Based on what if one of them isn't one of them? What if Lukaku turns out to be a flop? What if Martial has the form of last year? What if Rashford gets injured? We need 4 strikers, especially if we're going to mix the formation up. And like you, I agree. I think I would have liked to have got Morata as well. Belotti's a player I really liked the look of. Aubameyang is still available.
Yeah,
I think
until we out there, but that seems to be. It's just I hate to be negative, but at the moment my confidence in the signings that we have are good because I think they're quality signings. But in respect of how it advances the team, I don't think it does enough yet. And if we're hoping that Martial's going to kick on, Rashford, the new bulky Rashford's going to slap some goals in. Mkhitaryan's going to have the season he had last summer at Borussia Dortmund. But these are all hopes. If all of our players we currently have, like the ones I've just mentioned, come good and play at their top level, we're not going to have a problem, and I think we'll win the league. I really do, along with the signings that we have made, and plus an extra 1 or 2. But this is all in hope. I mean, I've got my fingers crossed for it because I think Mkhitaryan's a cracking player. I think Martial can be an absolute world beater if he could take a miserable look off his face every now and then. But I do think he's going to be quality. And Rashford's got all the promise in the world, but yeah, I think we need 3 more players to really step forward and stamp up, authority on the Premier League because we don't want to be the team that no one fears.
Exactly. Perisic hasn't signed. For all those people who are trying to con people in the live comments, don't worry. I don't sit here. I'm not like got him. I don't sit there with my head in the sand. I've got my finger on the pulse, and if anyone signs while we're live, you'll know first. Yeah, I thought Mkhitaryan was fantastic. He reminded me of what he was like in pre-season. Funnily enough, last year we didn't see enough. We didn't see enough of that at the number 10 position. He's got a real burst of pace when he's running at speed. But you know what, Paul? I'll throw this back to you and everyone in the live comments. I've said it a couple of times now. There's a lot of people getting negative about Lukaku, but Yeah, he didn't play great, but you know what he did do? He occupied their centre-backs and forced them back because they were terrified of the ball over the top, which we could never scare teams about when we had Zlatan. So because they were playing so deep, there was so much space for people like Martial and Mkhitaryan and Pogba. And that, Lukaku doesn't necessarily have to have a good game. It's the things he does off the ball that's going to create so much space as well.
And that's what we need. We didn't have any space in the midfield last season. We were locked down and we passed sideways and backwards because teams sat back. We didn't have any space, and Lukaku will bring that space for the better players that we have in midfield, which will let them be more creative, knock it about, and then Lukaku will get some crosses in from Perisic as well, and it will all be good. But another point, just last one, because I don't want to take up too much time, is one of the problems we had last season was we didn't know our best team, even at the end of the season. And I worry with all these signings coming in a little bit late, with all the games that we do have before we start the season, we're gonna have to innovate for the first 10 games, start messing around with the formations and the teams, and still not knowing where we need to start, and that sets us back a little bit.
I'd agree with that, Paul. Good point. I mean, we've got a relatively, I wouldn't say straightforward because the Premier League is, but not a difficult start to the season on paper. The last time we had a start like that was under Van Gaal when we were on the US tour, and loads of uncertainty, and we had a bad start to the season. So we won our first 3 games last year, and we still finished 6th. So we've got
if we can lock down a starting 11 that we know is going to happen, and we're going to run with that with a formation and stick with it, then it's good. But if we start messing about with it in the first 10 games, it just gets a little bit tricky. I mean, we know with Lukaku's going to start up front, but if Rashford bangs in loads of goals in this pre-season, is that going to put doubts in Jose's mind? But yeah, I think if we make another 2 quality signings and get our first 11 locked down, and we get a good start to the season, I think it's going to be a good season, but we need those signings.
I'm sure they'll come. Thanks for calling, Paul, and do call in again.
Cheers, pal. Yeah, all the best.
Ta-da. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, we just don't know what the formation will be this season, and if Rashford keeps banging in the goals, but he ends up on the bench because we play 1 up front, maybe we've all fallen into the trap that we're going to play 2 up front. We'll see what he does tonight, and we'll see what he does against City on Friday, formation-wise. A lot of people talking about Perisic agreeing a £40 million deal. Nothing has happened. I'm sure Perisic will come to United, but nothing has happened at the moment, and we can't play Pereira at CDM permanently, says Param, and thanks for the contribution. And he says hashtag Fabinho. I'd agree. I think the Pereira is going to be a great player, but he's not physically right to play as a CDM. Although he does quite well there, I think physically right, probably not for me. Lewis, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Hi, Mark.
How you doing, pal?
I'm how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. What do you want to talk about?
I just want to talk about the Perisic deal and just ask you, first of all, if you think it's going to happen, and if he goes on the China tour, do you think that's it? The deal's dead? Or...
I'll tell you what. I don't know what you think, Lewis, but what I do think, if he goes on the China tour, the press and a lot of United fans won't say it's dead, because I remember the same thing happening to Vidal. He went on the China tour when we were after him a few years ago, and he was still, oh yeah, we're still going to get him. Personally, I think if he goes on the China tour, I wouldn't say definitely dead, but I'd say 80%, because, and almost I'd want it to be dead and let's get somebody else like we did with Morata Lukaku, because it means he's not going to sign for another month, which means he's going to miss all our pre-season. And as the previous caller said, Paul, there, it means we don't get prepared. I think if they want 50 million and we don't want to pay it, why would we wait any longer thinking they're going to drop the price? Let's just move on. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I don't know who else they'd be though if we didn't get Perisic, but like you say, if it's dragging on for this long, we might as well just move on, try and get another deal done.
It's a great point. For all those who don't want Perisic, I sort of see where they're coming from, but the attributes that he's got, I totally see why Mourinho wants him, because he's not just a winger. He's tall, he's hard-working, very creative, two-footed. I can't think of any... there are players. There's Felipe Anderson at Lazio. There's Bernardeschi at Fiorentina. There's... Costa's gone to Chelsea now. There's people... Oxlade-Chamberlain, but we wouldn't get him from Arsenal. So there are players, but I don't think they've got the attributes that Perisic has.
Yeah, I think most of those you just said there, they might be risks. I mean, Perisic is quite experienced, so he's probably the best bet.
And what's your thoughts on a striker?
I think we're okay. It's not sort of the top priority for me now. I'd want to get that defensive midfield spot sorted out as quickly as possible. But I'm with you on the Matic deal. I don't want it to happen. I'd rather have Fabinho. It's just quite annoying how he's come out and said, "Oh, it'd be hard to turn down a United move," and then we just sort of sat there and not bid. He's got the same agent as Mourinho, like you say. I don't think it'd be a hard deal to make happen. So I don't know why we're not doing that deal.
I'm on the same page. I just don't feel that we're going to get Fabinho as much as I would like to. Ousmane Dembele mentioned by people there. The centre defensive midfield position is very, very interesting. I felt that we'd probably go for Matic, but then I'm hearing hopefully he'll go to Juventus. I think as long as whilst we don't know, I suppose it's quite exciting. But Fabinho's there to be done. I mean, I don't know what's your thoughts on Matic? Would you rather have him over Eric Dyer?
No, I'd have Eric Dyer over him. I think he's younger. He's obviously English, so he's another English talent. But yeah, Matic, I don't think he's miles better than Michael Carrick, to be honest.
No, well, I mean, Michael Carrick moves the ball better, I think, than anybody. But I'm just having a quick look. I don't think Nainggolan's signed yet. I mean, I don't think we're going to sign Nainggolan anyway, but I would like him at United. But another day goes by, doesn't it? That's the problem. With every passing day and another game tonight, I would just want them, whoever we're going to sign, I want them to get part of the squad, especially the centre defensive midfielder, because it's such an important position. And I don't know. We'll never know. One thing I would say is, though, and it's very true, people are saying we've had a bad transfer window. Well, we've signed 2 players, and when you look at everyone else in the Premier League, nobody's really done much better than us. I don't know what's really happening, whether there's a certain deal that will cause it all to just suddenly flip, but then everyone's going on tour and it's hard to do deals when you're on tour. It's been a bit of a weird summer, but I suppose because last year we had business done quite early, even though there was a major tournament.
Yeah, I think most of the foreign clubs have been a bit stubborn, a bit more so than they usually are, because, well, the Morata deal, that's just annoyed me. I wanted him, to be honest, over Lukaku, but like you say, 80 million, they're just having us for mugs.
No, I think Lukaku will turn out to be a good deal, and I trust Jose on it. But I would have preferred Morata. I'd still take Morata now, just to give us another option. But we'll see. Are you stopping up for the match, Lewis, or you got work or school?
Yeah, I'll be staying up.
Good. Well, hopefully we'll see you on the watch along a bit later. Looking forward to it, and thanks for calling.
Thanks, got a good channel going, Mark. Keep it up.
Ta, pal, and do call in again. Good call.
I will do.
Thank you. There's somebody who's just sent me a direct message on Twitter because they've joined a bit late, which is fair enough because a lot of people will tune into the United Stand at 8:30. I saw it last night. Obviously went live at 8 o'clock. The reason I've gone live at 8 o'clock is because I'm all about you, and I wanted to do the full hour of the Skype Gold Bridge, but I couldn't commit till 9:30 because I want to get to bed so I can get up early for the match later. So I've done it 8 till 9, so we still get the full hour. But we started off, and the name of the video is Neymar, and it's nothing to do with bloody whatever. Do you think the United Stand? I'm not being arrogant here, but the United Stand, we consistently get the same amount of people watching our videos, so we don't really need to clickbait. I think we've got our core fans, and that's great, and it's your channel, and that's fantastic. So I don't need to jeopardise that by talking nonsense. The reason Neymar is mentioned in the title is because we've already done the Real Salt Lake video. We've already done the Perisic video this morning, and I don't want to repeat talking about Perisic, so I thought let's talk about something different, and this Neymar thing has developed in the last hour. And basically, for once, it's not Neymar to Manchester United, it's Neymar to PSG, because they're going to apparently pay the release clause of £200 million. Now, as I said at the start of the video, there's 3 definite, unshakable points here. One, Neymar has been manoeuvring to leave Barcelona for a number of months now, even his dad said it 3 months ago, and Messi's just signed a new contract and Neymar wants to be number 1, so he won't be now because Messi's still there. Number 2, PSG can afford £200 million, and if they pay it, that's the release clause. It's up to Neymar if he wants to leave. Number 3, it's common knowledge that Woodward has been after Neymar ever since he got the job. He wants that sort of Galactico signing. So, put it all together and what do you get? Well, we've got the number 10 free. We're the biggest club in the world with Real Madrid and Barcelona. He plays for Barcelona. He won't go to Real Madrid, so Manchester United again. We've got that number 10, as I said before. Woodward, if he was available, I think would go for him. And if you're choosing between Manchester United and PSG, yeah, they play in the Champions League, but apart from that, they play in a pub league. Manchester United, richest league in the world, biggest global worldwide appeal in the world, one of the biggest clubs in the world, in the Champions League, tick, 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 tick. So I'm 75% sure he'll probably sign a new contract at Barcelona. But if he did leave, then why wouldn't he come to Manchester United? Cam Jones says he's not worth 200 million. I totally agree, but Pogba wasn't worth 80. Sometimes you've got to pay the price to get the player. Michael, can you hear me?
Yes, Mark, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. I wanted to ask your opinion and the live comments about how big a gap there is at the moment between Manchester United and Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and how we're going to compete in the Champions League next year. Because my opinion is that over the last 3-4 years, the gap is getting bigger and bigger between English clubs and Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid. And based on our current squad, our signings that we've made, who we're linked with, how far can we go in the Champions League next year?
I tell you what, it's a great question, and that's why I like Sky Goldbridge, because sometimes you get something that's a little bit not to do with transfers, and it's a really good one. So yeah, we'll throw that to the live comments and see what people think about how we'll do in the Champions League next year. I agree with you. I think there's a number of factors, and I don't, chip in if there's any more that I missed. But Real Madrid and Barcelona, obviously, they dominate La Liga because the way the money is shared out. It's not like Premier League; it's not shared fairly. I think you can pay to watch any of their games, which I think Manchester United should do as well. But so they've got the bigger budget. They've got a very easy league. I think probably 8 games a season are tough, and then 30 odd games are against pub teams, to be honest, home and away, which means they're very fresh when the Champions League comes round. They've got very big squads as well. All plays into the hands of them. I think the English game let it slip. I think we had that period between 2005 and 2011 or 12, I think it was, when Chelsea won it, when we were very dominant and we were getting to semi-finals and finals, and it just suddenly disintegrated pretty much when Sir Alex Ferguson retired for some reason. But I mean, I don't know if there's anything else you'd add to that, but I think United have got to get to quarter-finals, and then anything after that's a bonus. For the reasons you've said, it is very hard to win.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I think that the Premier League is almost, we need to challenge next year for it, and it's been, I'm from Glasgow myself, and I live in Dubai, so I listen to your show from Dubai and watch all the Premier League games from here, and I'm a big Manchester United fan, but it's been really disappointing since Ferguson's left. There's not been that excitement. Crashing out of the Champions League after Louis van Gaal got us in was really disappointing, and I think that even though we've made the signing of Lindelof and Lukaku, I'm very, very happy about the signing. I was unsure, before the season ended when we were linked to him, but now that we've signed him, I'm really pleased, because I think Lukaku in a Chelsea team would have did very well, and I think he's going to do very well in a United team. But I still think that we're missing. You mentioned Neymar at the beginning of the show. We're missing an X factor somewhere. I know Mata does a good job. I think Martial does have potential. He played terrific against LA Galaxy. Rashford looks terrific, and they are really exciting. But I think we're missing a real star signing. And we had it in Ronaldo of recent. We had it. Giggs on the left, Kanchelskis on the right, Cantona. These were star signings. The biggest thing that I've noticed as well, just a second point, won't take up too much time, but our deliveries into the box since Beckham has left has just been terrible to watch. When me and a few of the guys watch the games over here, we're just continually disappointed with corners. When Rooney was taking corners last year, there's no one that's sending a good delivery into the box. And I think hopefully Perisic would do that if he joined. But this is a real weakness of the team, I feel.
No, I agree. Sorry, I don't know whether you can visually see me. I was laughing when you were talking there because I do read the live comments while I'm reading, which is why I like the show as well, because I don't get a chance to read them when it's just me. And a lot of people are saying we've got Sir Alex Ferguson on the show, which I was finding funny because I presume they are probably global fans, because for somebody from the UK, you don't sound anything like Sir Alex Ferguson. It just clearly is a Scottish accent, but it's not like that. But I suppose to people who aren't from the UK or used to the British accents, you probably do really sound like Sir Alex Ferguson. But as you said, from Glasgow, so he was from Glasgow, wasn't he, Sir Alex? So I forget where it was.
That's right. And I suppose while we're on the topic of Glasgow and Scotland, I would like to point out that the centre half, oh God, I forgot his name, bloody hell, the Liverpool have been linked with recently, Van Dijk.
Oh, yeah.
He was from Celtic, and, Celtic's my kind of home team back in Scotland, and we all saw the potential in Van Dijk when he played for Celtic, and it's amazing how he's now very much sought after from the big clubs in England. And obviously Henrik Larsson was an unbelievable player for Celtic as well, and he did well when he came to Manchester United, and I think you've got the ex-Liverpool, the ex-Man City player, left wing, who's currently at Celtic, and I think it's something to keep an eye on. It's something for Manchester United to keep an eye on as players coming through potentially from Celtic, because Celtic are a good feeder club and have produced really good players. Di Canio, George Cadet, there's been a lot of good players there as well.
Yeah, good call. Thanks for calling, Michael. First time?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, first time. We'll do it again.
Yeah, definitely do. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, pal. I enjoyed that. Some really good calls tonight, and some really good points as well. Talking of which, there's a one in the live comments here from BlazeStar123. He says, Mark, what do you think of Bayern pulling out of Alexis Sanchez, and what are your views on Lindelof mistakes costing United a clean sheet? Not sheep. I hope we sign a flair player, Ronaldo, Neymar, Bale, Kroos or Kane. Yeah, I think a flair player would be fantastic. A status player would be good. Lindelof was at fault for both goals, I would say, but I don't think him and Lukaku had a great first 45 minutes for Manchester United. But is it cause for concern? Not at all. It's pre-season. It's their first 45 minutes. I think the Super Cup is probably where it starts to matter, and that's about 6 games away that we can watch them develop. So I'm not too fussed about that. Alexis Sanchez to Bayern Munich, they probably would pull out now they've got Rodriguez, because where would they play him? If Alexis Sanchez leaves, I think he's going to Manchester City, and I have been quite consistent about that, which is even more important that Manchester United make a marquee signing as well. It's difficult because we always knew it was going to be Griezmann, but he bottled it. So if we move on and forget about Griezmann, then I'd be very happy. I forgot to say, there's a lot of people saying, oh, fantastic show. I've just subscribed. Obviously, if you are new to the United Stand, make sure you click that subscribe button, bottom right-hand corner, and make sure you click the bell. And also, if you are getting up to watch the United game tonight, we did it for LA Galaxy. We do it for every Manchester United game now the season's started. We've got the watch-along. We'll be live from 2 a.m. So join us from that right the way through till full-time at about 5 a.m. Then a match reaction. Then off to work, I think. So I'm going to get to sleep in a minute. Well, after this, in about half an hour. But do join us for it. Life's too short, and don't feel lonely that you've got to get up in your house and watch a match in the middle of the night, because you can be with the United stand, joining in and having a good old laugh. It was a very weird experience. The hour before the kickoff is a weird one at 2 a.m, but I enjoyed it and I'm looking forward to it again. I wasn't actually going to do tonight's game. I had Marcus and Ross lined up, but I thought I can't miss United. I've got to watch them, so I'm getting up and I'm looking forward to it. And again on Friday for the City game as well. So we're here with you the whole time. So subscribe, join the community. It's a fantastic one, and that's what that's what these shows are all about as well. I love promoting the channel when we actually are taking your calls, because that's what it's all about. It is your channel and it is about your views. So instead of chatting, let's take another call. Eddie's been calling for ages, so I've got to try and get him on if he's there. Eddie, can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm very good.
Good. What was it you wanted to talk about, pal?
Yeah, pretty much. I wanted to talk about pretty much the system. One thing that we're lacking is pretty much the players don't know exactly what they're doing. Like, I feel that the players need to actually know what they're doing. Like, especially the strikers, defenders. Everyone should have an assigned task to do. I feel like last season Mourinho didn't really didn't really get them to play as well as they could play, and they didn't really know exactly what they were doing. So I feel Mourinho should actually get them to just put in their mind that they need to know what they're doing.
I think in relation to, I thought you were talking about the game on Saturday, so I was going to say it's a little bit early. But in relation to last season, I think I'm sure some people will disagree and they'll start saying, well, we won the Europa League. But I do actually see where you're coming from, because the first caller said it as well. Why did Manchester United, pretty much from, I think it was around October time to around the Liverpool game in January, went on a good run and we played some good football. We just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. And then from around February time, we started playing this very defensive, grinding out result football, which probably feeds into your theory there that Mourinho obviously didn't feel confident trusting the players with this sort of, expansive way, and it was more about being compact and grinding a result out, which Mourinho's done all his career, and you can do that with players who are willing to listen. It's getting the best out. It's harder to win playing well than it is to just grind out results, and I think that's what Mourinho is trying to do. But I mean, how he does that? Do you think it's down to the manager? Do you think it's down to the players that he's got? I mean, it's a big question, and it's been going on for a long time. Last summer we said we've got too much deadwood. We haven't really got rid of that much, but maybe you feel it's the manager, or do you think it's he needs to get the right players in?
I feel it's a bit of both. Mourinho's always been known to, kind of stick to a defensive system, and I feel he with the squad now, he really needs to find out the right tactics. Like, that's the main problem. Even with the players we have, I feel the players we have are good enough. It's just letting them know what they need to do. They need to know what they're doing, pretty much. And I feel this pre-season obviously will bring out, a lot of our weaknesses and what we need to actually, improve on. But to be honest, I don't think it's all about signings. It's not about marquee signings and stuff like that. It's just about getting the players to know what they're doing. Alex Ferguson was so good at that, getting the most out of, like, even not the best squads, but he was good. He was good at getting, just dead weight players to play well. I feel Mourinho just needs to kind of manage the tactics much more better.
Okay, is it your first time on the call, Eddie? I have so many people on, it's hard to remember.
Yeah, first time.
Cool. Where are you calling from?
Calling from London.
Londoner. Thanks for calling, pal, and please do call in again. Are you stopping up for the match tonight, or are you going to wait till tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to try and stay up, man. I'm going to try and stay up, put on an alarm or something, But yeah.
Good luck with that. Thanks for calling, pal.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
Cheers. Funny story, but very true. When we did the US tour last year, me and Alex did it 2 years ago, and on the last one, I did sleep through my alarm. And funnily enough, on Saturday night, my alarm went off, and I did very nearly, like I do in the morning, just leave it 5 minutes. If you leave it 5 minutes at 1:30 in the morning, you're gone, and your alarm's not going to go off again. So if you do set your alarm, the key to getting up at around 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning is when it goes off, get up. Don't do the old 5 minute I'll be alright, because your body will just zoom off. It's not used to it. Right, let's take another call. Who should we do? Let's try. I think we've had this person on before, but let's try. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello? Okay, I'll try him again. Let's try Drew. Can you hear me, Drew?
Yes, hello Mark, how are you? You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Good. Go on then.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a start going back to the start of last season, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't have no problems at all. For the past 3 to 4 seasons, I've been getting stick off my Arsenal friends and my Liverpool buddies. So I was a bit sad at that. But then we had the news that Mourinho will be there, and I didn't have any problems at all. I've heard a lot of bad things about him going back to Chelsea, and what happened at his last season there. But from when he left, I didn't have any problems at all. As soon as Zlatan came, I thought we would have a good season. It's a shame about the injury, but now we've got Lukaku, and I think he's going to do a lot this season. I think Man U are on track. I'm surprised that we won so much last season, actually. But I think we've got better days to come at Man United now.
I agree. I think I think what Mourinho got out of last season, and it was a Guidetti very good chance away from us being knocked out of the Europa League, but to come out of it with the Europa League and Champions League football was pretty much spot on. I think this season we've got to improve a lot. It's good to speak to a fan who's positive and behind Mourinho, because I certainly am. But I do feel that we do need to make a few signings. We've made 2. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I mean, we're linked to a lot of players. Is there any realistic signings that you'd like us to come in, or are you more than happy with what we've got?
I do think we do need a couple more. It's a shame about the whole Griezmann thing and what happened there. But it would be nice to see Neymar come. I know I have heard you talking in the past saying that Jose is in talks with him and has been in contact over the years and stuff, and Neymar's not very happy. So it would be good to see Neymar there. Not too sure if that will come through, but I think Perisic might be a good signing. I know he's not the star name that everyone's trying to go for, but I do think he works hard. He's got the work ethic. I think he knows the club. He knows what Man U expect from the players, and that we expect trophies. And I think he's a very good hard worker. Whenever he doesn't put a cross in, he kicks himself. And I think we need players like that. And we have to have heart. There's not much heart in the team at the moment. It's getting there. With the likes of Herrera. He knows the club as well. He knows what Man U's about. I think we will do good. And as I said, we've got the big old Lukaku up front. I think he's going to do bits this season. He will get goals. He didn't have a good half the other night, but I'm not really fussed about that. It's when the season starts, we'll see what goes on from there, really.
Yeah, there's a long way to go. Thanks for calling, Drew. Where are you calling from?
I'm from your neck of the woods, mate, Birmingham.
All right, okay. First time calling in?
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure if you watched any of our videos from today, you'll probably recognise exactly where I was filming from. But thanks for calling.
Yeah, I do. But I won't say too much. Yeah. Cheers, no problem, Mark.
Speak to you again.
All right, see you later. Bye-bye.
Ta-da. Let me come back to the live comments. Nothing on Perisic yet. No, nothing on Perisic yet. I like Perisic, but if signing him hinders Martial, he can stay at Inter, says Tyrone Williams. Yeah, I think the Martial thing's been blown out of proportion. I don't think he'll leave Manchester United. I think the link with Perisic and Martial is somewhat false. Perisic is 2-footed, so he could play on the right side. We don't have enough depth with natural wide players anyway. You could argue that Martial isn't a natural wide player; he's just our best wide player. I think Perisic, because he can play either side, he doesn't impact on Martial at all. Imagine if Martial got injured. Our wide men, we'd have a choice between Mkhitaryan, Lingard, Ashley Young, Mata, who none of which are really, for differing reasons, out and out wide men. So Perisic coming in as a wide man is absolutely spot on. I'd more than welcome him at United, and I don't think it impacts on Martial at all, as far as I'm concerned. Please do drop a like on the video. We're nearly at 700, which is quite good for this stage of the video. It's Skype Goldbridge, so you're liking your fellow United Stand community members by supporting them and liking them, and we've had some cracking calls again tonight. Let's take another one. They're all flashing up in front of me now. Let's have a look who we can grab. Let's try Daniel. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mark, loud and clear.
How you doing, pal?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to the game over in your neck of the woods. What time will it be for you? Because you're in New York, aren't you?
Yeah, it's going to be 10 for me. 10 p.m.
10 p.m. 10 p.m. Okay, what did you want to talk to us about tonight?
I just want to ask you, how nervous are you that we are regressing as a club?
Well, my short reply, and then you can answer why you think we might be, is I don't think that we are, because if you're judging us to the Sir Alex Ferguson years, then there is regression, but that was 4 years ago and we can't live in the past. If you're judging us in relation to the Moyes and Van Gaal era, then I would say that we're making big progress. We've won a trophy we never won, we're back in the Champions League, I think we've got the best manager we could hope for, and we've got some fantastic players. They just need to step up to the plate, and we need a couple of good signings to go with it. But by all means, give us your theory as to why you'd ask me that question.
Well, no, I hear you, and I do think that we're making progress in terms of where we were under Moyes and Van Gaal. I mean, their ceiling was probably Liverpool's floor, which was never going to be good enough for us anyway. So Mourinho, there's only one way to go for him, and that was up. But just as a whole, I just see people going out the door. Memphis, Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin haven't even replaced them. Then we lose Rooney, Ibrahimovic. But guess you replace Ibrahimovic with Lukaku. Rooney's still yet to be replaced. So that's 4 people that haven't been replaced. I don't see 4 signings coming in. I see the people that we're linked with are good players, not great players. But I will also say on the flip side of that coin, a lot of fans are looking for marquee signings and things like that, when really under Sir Alex, we didn't make any marquee signings. Ronaldo was pretty much an unknown when we signed him. It was just the players that encouraged Sir Alex to sign him. Everybody else was youth academy products or players that were good in other leagues around Europe that really stepped up when they came to United.
Well, Sir Alex Ferguson was there for how many years was he there? Well over 20. And I'm just thinking off the top of my head, marquee signings in that period. Berbatov, that didn't work out that well. Rio Ferdinand and Rooney did. But yeah, we certainly weren't buying one a year.
Right. So now I think the uproar to go out and get the marquee names is, I'm for it, because that's the way that the football's geared now. You need big names to play. I mean, the time to grow youth and the time to grow players that are relative unknowns, it's just not going to work. There's way too much impatience among fans, among boards, among sponsorships, marketing, all across every level of football. There's no time to grow youth talent, all across the board. You want to have a player like a Rashford who comes in, or an Angel Gomes who's going to come in and develop, then that's all well and good. But in terms of going out there and getting a marquee signing, that's probably what needs to be done. And I just don't see us doing it now. I don't see us doing it maybe next year. I know Griezmann really put the fly in the ointment, but I mean, there's got to be somebody. There's players out there we could get, and it's just not going to happen this year.
I'm going to go against you, Daniel, just because I enjoy to. But I just think there is. there is reason we will sign 2 more players. I don't know who they'll be. I think one of them will be Perisic. I hope the other won't be Matic. And if it is Perisic and Matic, and you come back on, I'm sure you will do, I would say it's not been the best transfer window and it's not been the most inspiring. But whilst there's time, and whilst it's easy to fall into this trap that, we're not going to sign a marquee signing, and we may well not, but when you look outside of the Manchester United bubble, which is very hard because it's not a very nice view, there's not a lot of other clubs doing a lot. Like Real Madrid haven't signed anyone yet. Barcelona, I don't think, have signed anyone. Same with PSG. There's a lot of players still to move this summer. I mean, like Verratti's going to go. There's still time, but it's the one thing I would come back and agree with is that Mourinho gave this list to Woodward in April and he wanted it done by now, and we definitely failed. But doesn't mean we'll fail for the whole summer.
Agreed. No, I agree, Mark. But also, too, Real, do they really need to go out and sign a marquee player? They're back-to-back Champions League winners. We came in 6th. Yeah. We finished 6th. And there's teams above us, and I know that the teams above us haven't been doing much, but we haven't been doing much either. And if we haven't been doing much in 6th, and they haven't been doing much in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, are we really getting better? I mean, City's had a much better transfer window than us, and I don't like talking about other teams. I like talking about the team that we love, that we support, that we watch, that you wake up at 2 a.m. for now, just like sometimes we have to.
Yeah,
but
it's tough.
Are we getting any better while they're improving and they were already? See, I don't think that the City was better than us last year. I think they finished higher than us, but because we could not finish. I don't think it has anything to do with our talent levels. I think we have tons of talent in our team, but statistically speaking, looking at the table, 5 teams finished ahead of us. They've all gone on and improved somewhat, all except for Liverpool. I think they've pretty much stayed the same. But Chelsea have gotten better. Arsenal have even gotten a little bit better. I'm not saying much, but they're going to lose Alexis. But we're in 6th. We didn't finish 2nd, and we're adding Lukaku and Lindelof and hopefully Perisic. I do like Perisic. He's got a lot of quality. We finished 6th, and we haven't added much to me to make us go from 6th to 1st. And it is impending a lot of players stepping up, Martial, Rashford, Mkhitaryan, but that's a big ask, and I just think you need a big name to take the pressure off of those types of guys.
Good call, Daniel. You're going to one of the games, aren't you?
Not here.
Oh,
I will
yeah.
be at the West Ham on the Premier League opener. I'll be there for that.
Well, I hope you come over, and I hope they batter them 6-0 and entertain you. But thanks for calling. Really good call. I'm sure we'll have you on again before then.
Absolutely appreciate it. Thanks for taking my call again, pal.
Cheers, pal. Thank you.
Stay well.
I wouldn't agree. I don't agree with everybody, and I wouldn't agree with Daniel's negativity, but I can understand it, and a lot of people are, and a lot of people aren't. Saying honest caller, great caller. Some people saying get him off, but that's what fan opinion's about. That's what the United Stand's all about. So, you can't censor opinion just based on some callers might not like it. That's not what we do on the United Stand. It really is about getting all your opinions, and that's what we want to do. I still think there's time. I was reading a lot of comments while Daniel was talking, and one of them really stood out, and they said Eric Dyer, Perisic, and a marquee signing like Mbappe would be what this transfer window needs from Manchester United, and I would tend to agree. I don't know whether we'll get the third. I think we'll get the first 2, maybe not those players, but certainly those positions. I do think we need the marquee signing as well. I do, and the reason I think that is because what Daniel picked up on then, it's something I've said before. We forget that the Europa League was a great achievement because it got us into the Champions League, but we were literally a tap-in away from going out of the Europa League when that Guidetti missed, and we would have been out, and we would have been 6th, and we wouldn't have been in the Champions League. I don't forget that night against Ajax easily. It was a very, very tension night, and we could have been not in the Champions League, and we got it, and I think we now feel, we forget in a way. We came 6th. The league doesn't lie, we came 6th. Chelsea came 1st. Manchester City came 3rd. If Manchester City and Chelsea have better transfer windows than us, we came 6th, they came 3rd and 4th. We should be strengthening better than the teams who finish above us. And if Chelsea get rid of Matic and bring Bakayoko in like they have, Bakayoko and Kante is a better midfield than Matic and Kante. So they're improving their midfield, which is where you win games. Our midfield, Carrick's a year older, Fellaini's still there, Rooney's left. we've got Pogba, Herrera, Fellaini, an ageing Carrick, Pereira, who's not a centre defensive midfield. That is where United are in trouble. That is where we're in trouble. He doesn't play Fosu Mensah as a centre defensive midfielder. He plays him at right back. He's not going to play Twansibi there. He plays him at centre back. We're very short in the midfield for numbers, and it's the same midfield we had last year that got overrun against Man City twice, got overrun at Stamford Bridge. We've got to improve that area. And when the title winners, Chelsea, are improving their midfield from a title-winning midfield, we've got to improve that area. And I think we need 2 players in there. So our transfer window has got to be better than Chelsea and Man City. Personally, I want to look at Real Madrid and Barcelona, and I want to have better windows than them. But at the moment, I forgot to ask Paul, the first caller, what would you rather do? So I'll put it out to you lot again. I've asked you before. What would you rather do? Would you rather win the Premier League, or would you rather win the Champions League? Because for me, it's the Premier League. This year is about winning the Premier League, and that is our competition, and we've got to go out and win it. And you can have all the talent in the world, and I think Mkhitaryan, Martial, as I said at lunchtime, in differing ways, Pereira, Rashford, Martial, Mkhitaryan, Pogba could be so much better than last year, and that's like 5 new signings. But they're all pretty much flair players. We've got to sort the midfield out. It's where you win games. It's where you win titles. You can have a good defence. You can have a really good attack full of flair players, which I believe we have. But if you haven't got the midfield to feed them, you've lost. And we've got to sort the midfield out. I think Herrera and Pogba are very reliable, but they can't play 60 games again. They will get injured. And if they do get injured, who do we trust? Because I don't really trust Fellaini. I don't. I can't trust Carrick because he's too old. They are players that should play a few games as squad players. We need to go out and sign a midfielder, at least one. And I think once we do that, I'll feel a little bit more comfortable. I mean, Pro Rip says, do the maths. If we'd won those 11 drawn home games, we would have finished second. Well, it's unrealistic to say we should have won 11 draws. But even if we did, we finished second. It's still the first place loser. You know what? I'm happy we finished 6th and won the Europa League, because unless we finished first, I wouldn't swap it. I'm not interested in 2nd or 3rd or 4th or 5th. I don't like this modern phenomenon of celebrating 2nd or 3rd or 4th or 5th being better than 6th in the Europa League. I'm not bothered about 2nd place. I remember United finishing 2nd place under Sir Alex Ferguson. I hated it. First is where it's at, or forget it. And 2nd is the first place loser. So 2nd next season, I don't even want to hear anybody saying 2nd and a cup wouldn't be a bad season next year. It would. We've got to get back to the mentality that, to be fair, Mourinho is trying to bring to United because he's a winner. It's first place. First place or disappointment. And that is what we've got to get back to. And that is where I judge the squad. And I think we are 3 signings away from that. And I'd agree with that person who said we need a midfielder, we need Perisic, and we need a marquee signing. Somebody who's really going to get us off the edge of the seat so that Pogba can relax into the role more without all the pressure. You want somebody to come in and take the pressure of the number 10 or the number 7 shirt, and then leave the people like Herrera and Pogba, who've been here for a while now, to just crack on and do their job without all the headlines. And I think we'll be fine. Right. We didn't quite hit 1,000 likes, so if you haven't liked the video, please do drop a like on the video. If you haven't subscribed, click that bottom right hand corner. The reason I say that is we've got a great community on the United Stand. Live comments have been fantastic as usual, but twice today I went live off my phone. If I go live off my phone, it's live, so unless you're following us on Twitter or you've hit the notification on YouTube, which is the bell, you're not going to get notified when I go live. However, tonight at 2 AM, we will be live with Real Salt Lake versus Manchester United. Watch along. Can't wait. 2 AM through till 5 AM. We're going to be watching the game with you. Updates, live comments, great atmosphere. Join us for it. You know what? You only live once. Whether you've got school or work tomorrow, just go in tired. Get through it together. You'll enjoy it. It's a fantastic thing. And then you can definitely... It's training for Friday morning when we've got to get up to watch Man City, and then it's Friday in the weekend. So come on, let's do it together and enjoy it. We're going to be live at 2 AM. We've hit 1,000 likes as well. Just shows like one little thing and you respond and you support everyone who's been on the Skype Gold Bridge, which is brilliant. So join us at 2 AM. We're live with the watch along. Real Salt Lake, Manchester United. Manchester United are playing a football match. Lukaku's going to score his first goal for Manchester United tonight. Rashford's going to score again. Martial's going to have another wonderful game. And you're going to get to see Pereira, the new kid on the block, and just see how good he is. And the great thing is Real Salt Lake beat LA Galaxy 6-2. So it's a step up in quality. Really looking forward to it. Join us at 2 AM. Thanks for everyone who's joined us tonight. Thanks for all the callers. Thanks for all your support. And I'll see you at 2 a.m. Looking forward to it. Thanks everyone who's joined in today. You make it what it is. Really, really enjoy doing these shows. Sorry it was slightly early. Tomorrow night we'll be back at 8:30 and we'll have Rodney on. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you at Get Up for the watch along. If you're not getting up for the watch along, I'm doing a match reaction straight after. So when you wake up, you'll get my match reaction where I'll give you player ratings and everything like that. If you can join us, great. If you can't, I understand. But I'll one way or another, you'll wake up to Goldbridge in the morning and the United stand. Thanks everyone. Good to see everybody's really excited about it, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.